Well, I think its main role is to clarify concepts and ideas, to make them understandable, to show how they interconnect, and to explain certain Christian doctrines with a kind of clarity that's not otherwise possible. I think you can bring Christianity, philosophy to bear on defending the basic truth claims of the Christian faith, and also to rebut objections to Christianity. And so in 2 Corinthians 10:5, I take this to be our marching orders from the Apostle Paul. He says, we demolish arguments and every pretension that sets itself up against the knowledge of God, and we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. And so you can see there's two dimensions to that. One is demolishing the arguments, and philosophy is all about analyzing arguments and showing where there's a premise that's false or undefended or not reasonable to believe, or show how premises are not connected to the conclusion properly. So that's one aspect to it. And the reason you do that is because strongholds get set up in people's minds, and then they take hold of a complete belief system, and then that kind of directs the trajectory of somebody's life. So that the difference between somebody who is a Christian believer and somebody who isn't is going to, at some root level, trace back down to the things that they believe about ultimate reality and what's important in life. And so Christian philosophy is of eminent worth in sort of inspecting those beliefs, and then the beliefs that are antithetical to a Christian worldview, taking those captive. And so there's ways that can be done. You can look at what Jesus does with the Sadducees in Matthew 22, and he shows you exactly how to take a belief captive. You go inside another worldview, you inspect the beliefs inside that worldview, which means you have to know what they believe, and then you start to show, well, there's inconsistencies here. So in the case with Jesus, he points out to the Sadducees, you believe Exodus 3:6, which says, I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But you also say that you don't believe in life after death. But the verse entails life after death because he's not the God of the dead, but of the living. So what he's pointing out there is your worldview is imploding from the inside. So he's taking their belief captive and making it obedient to Christ. And so there's all sorts of ways that this can be done in Christian philosophy, and it's very liberating to people to be sort of sprung from this trap. I'm thinking of Augustine saying, he was in this Manichaean cult, and it was reading philosophers, Neoplatonic philosophers, that helped him reason himself out of this cult, which then helped him to become a believer later.